All right, so next thing on the whole 67 is figure out this hood solution. All right, I've got a fiberglass hood. If you put a regular spring on, right now it has no springs, because if you put a regular spring on it, it pushes, when the hood's down, it pushes up on this fiberglass and it ends up bending it. So I've just been running with no springs, and then the latch holds it down, so that's fine. But when you get it up, this board solution is silly. Plus you got to carry the stick in the thing, in that car. So the solution is, I ordered, well, I looked on like CJ Pony Porch and stuff and looked for a hood strut kit, and they don't have one. And then I looked on eBay and I found somebody selling this kit. It's a Ford Performance kit. I don't know what you know, it's like a 550 or what, you know, what group of car Mustangs it was supposed to go for, but they said it was for a Mustang. And the part number on it, on the strut itself, is SE130P-55. So what my initial thought is measure how much this moved. I'm going to mount it to here. You can see I started. I'll show you over here. Measure how much this moved when it goes up and down, and it actually comes down to about right here. So this moves about 5.5 inches. So you measure that, go to Walmart, AutoZone, find a strut that's a little bit longer than that, and then make some brackets and all that. Well, this kit came with a 4 3/4 inch strut and brackets with the ball attachments, and it was relatively inexpensive. It was a private sale. It's not a new kit. I don't know how much the new kit costs. So what I'm going to do is, I was going to drill this and put it through the hole. Show you. That's what the thing is. I was going to drill it and put it through the hole, but then that's where the spring hooks on, so I just bolted it on there just to see how it works, and it feels pretty solid. We'll see if it works. If it doesn't, then I'll have to rotate it and drill it. The next step is I'm going to hang my strut from here. I'm going to mark it, and I'm going to close the hood, and then I'm going to mark it, because I don't want it to bottom out. I don't mind if the hood, you know, opens up, you know, this much instead of all the way. But I don't want the strut to bottom out, because it'll keep the hood from closing, and it'll also put pressure on this and bend it. We don't want to do that. So we're going to make sure that the strut has enough movement so it can close down, have a little 1/4 inch of movement after that, and then we'll see where it ends up coming up. I don't mind if it automatically opens or if it just holds it up from falling down, because this is not a cool solution, and that will be a cool solution. So next step, I'm going to hang the strut here, make some marks, close the hood, make some marks, take a look, and then we'll drill down in here. We'll drill wherever this ends up. It's going to be probably way down here. We'll drill a hole and mount that other bracket. This bracket is designed, it's got some studs, so when you mount it to something flush, those studs go into a hole, so that when you put pressure on this ball, it can't rotate, so it'll lock it in place. So we're going to see if we can get those things mounted in the right place, one strut at a time. Just make sure the measurements work. We'll do the other side and then see where it ends up. By the way, I changed this. So I've got this is 3 inch, I've got a 3 inch 90 silicone coming, which will put my air meter right about here, and then I can do something with air, cool air, maybe get a pipe down here, and so that's the next step. But I got all that elbow stuff off. It was just ugly and useless, and I tried to use the EGR but didn't really, so EGR is deleted now. Anyway, hood strut time. Well, I wish I knew what kit that was, because it worked out pretty nice. Here's the tools I needed. A couple drills. That's a 5/16 drill bit, flashlight, thing to take the wheels off. This measurement, 4 1/8 inches up, 5/8 over, both sides. The rest of the stuff is just bolted in. got. Worked out just nice. Both sides the same. Same on both. You can see. Pretty clean install. What I really like about it is it doesn't they don't stick up over here. You know, either this way or that way or whatever. And check this out. It stays. It's just enough. Like, it's just enough to hold it wherever you want. So I really like it. Turns out nice. They don't bind when they're closed. I set the camera up there to make sure. They've got about a 1/2 inch there. So nice. Alright, well, routed some wires. I had to fix the ground here. Snugged that guy up. Routed him up here. And snugged that guy up. Then, the reason why I did that is because I put a bolt in this ground here that was not grounded, so I don't know what was going on there. And then I plugged in the license plate illumination, and I installed that, which is here. It's hard to see, but it's right up there. 2 bolts. Yeah. Anyway, that is all the exterior stuff, I think, except for the horse up front. But like I said, that's on back order. I've got an old one I can clean up, but I think I'm going to leave it like that for right now. Got the hood struts in, so we're good with everything here. I got a little bit of stuff to do with the intake there, but tomorrow we're going to start with our pedals. So this is the 1 brake and 1 clutch. I'm not sure which one's which. They look like, oh, there's the, yeah, brake. That right there, and then there's the clutch. So, and then I've got the gas pedal. So that's my goal tomorrow, is to get all the pedals in. So we are officially starting tomorrow on finishing up the interior. Pedals, or the first thing, it's going to take a little bit of cutting on that disc brake pedal to get clearance for the clutch, and then maybe the radio. I've been threatening to put the radio in, but I think when I put the radio in, I'm gonna like sit and listen to it. So there's that. All right, well, that's it for the outside. So I'll probably close up this video with that. You've seen it running and hear it running. It's running really good. It runs better now that it's got the intake has been reconfigured. So yeah, we're gonna start on the inside and hopefully get her all tightened up, and maybe one more video after this of just the inside stuff, and we'll be good to go. Oh, I've got the windshield wiper arms. I picked out the best ones are the ones that I got, so I'll polish these guys up a little bit and put some new blades on them, and then those just pop on. And then, yeah, that'll be that. All right, like I said, this will probably be the end of this one, so as usual, if you like it, give me a follow. I'd appreciate it. We're gonna keep plugging away. Maybe one more video on the inside, like I said, and then we'll go for a ride. I'll mount one of the cameras inside and go for a proper ride. All right. All right. So I got the manual brake pedal trimmed. Got the disc to the disc pedal rubber size, and got that installed. And this is a stock clutch pedal, and I got that installed. Now that gives me some room between there. Plus, so I cut this from the center 3 inches. If anybody cares, and I got that measurement from this pad. This pad went on a little bit more difficult than that one, so you could probably be a slightly less than 3 inches if you wanted, but fits on there really nice. You can see I just used a jigsaw, and it's about a little bit less than an 1/8 inch thick, and I used a jigsaw to cut it off, and it slid right on there. So next I'm going to put on the gas pedal. I'm going to get that messy my blanket for catching all this stuff. I'm going to get that out of there, put on the gas pedal, and that'll complete the pedals. And the next one is that dreaded radio. I don't know why I've been putting it off, but I got to put the vent tubes. I don't know if you can see those. I'll put those vent tubes on, clean up some of that wiring, and then install the radio. All right, next step. Well, there they are. All in there, all three of them. New fuel pedal. I got a little sticky for some reason. I don't know why. We'll check that out. Brake pedal, clutch, all in. So next stop, radio. Test ride. Throttle's got a little stick in it. Alright, it's off idle. That squeaking's got to go. I got to figure that out. I like the pedals. I got the clearance now on the clutch. It's much nicer. Well, we'll go for a ride. I'll try and hold the recorder. I didn't grab a suction cup. I just said, oh, I'm going to go out for a ride real quick. So we'll see how she does. It's hard to shift gears and stay straight with a camera. A little squeaky. I need to put some silicone on some stuff. Not sure if you can see the gauges, but 40 miles an hour. It is pretty accurate. It's off by a couple miles an hour. 2,000 RPMs. I'm in fourth. Drives pretty good, nice and straight down the road after the alignment. Kind of like it. Windows down, and it's still pretty quiet in here for an old car. So, like it. All right, I'm gonna set you guys down and drive for a minute. Yeah, I think my throttle's sticking on full throttle. I'm gonna have to look at that. I know there's an alignment issue, and I was gonna take that intake off and then readjust some stuff, so that might be part of that. And got a little bit of a bog. 22,000 to 3,000. It's not running as good as I'd like, so I think I'm gonna pull those injectors out and clean them also. So we'll let's see what we got here. Can't really do a burnout because the throttle's sticking at about $5,000. It starts to stick. Yeah, all right. Squeaking's gotta go. I like it. All right, I got this fresh air intake kit. Let's see what I can do about making it fit on here. I sure like my shocks on my hood struts. Anyway, I'm gonna take this guy off, try to put it down there somewhere. We'll see. Well, that's what it ended up looking like. I need to build a bracket to hold this. It's pretty stable, but you know, it's rubbing up here on the radiator, and it's resting on the battery. Got a little space here, so there won't be any sound coming in, but if I make a bracket, I can lift this up just a little bit. I know it looks funny, but I can't rotate this the other way, and this bracket, if I want to use it, I kind of need it to be over here. I can rotate it and put the bracket right there, then it's going to be a weird bracket. So now this is rotatable but not flippable. Anyway, that's the way it ended up. It's pretty stable. Not bad for, I think it was a $49 kit with the filter and everything. So now I got to take the throttle body off because I put the throttle blade in backwards, so I need to rotate that. That's what was causing my throttle to stick from off idle. It's angled and it was, yeah, messed up. So we're going to do that, and then I got some other chores to take care of. Anyway, thought that you want to see that fresh air intake. It went on there pretty straightforward. All right, after that drive, there were some drivability issues. Had a misfire or a random cylinder drop, whatever, a cylinder dropping, shouldn't say random, I know what happened now. And it overheated, so you can see the coolant is still green. It's not as good as it could, so I might flush it and drain it. Well, I will drain it, and I might flush it all out, but we're going to replace the water pump. I think there's just something going on with it. I double-checked the rotation for the 96 Explorer, which is what this motor is, and it's supposed to be the way it is. The belt routing's right and everything. So I'm going to replace the water pump. I think there's something there. I pulled out all the injectors to get them cleaned. I pulled out all the spark plugs to do a compression check and to make sure everything was right. I also added this EGR dongle that's supposed to fool the computer into thinking the EGR is good, so when it starts up, it'll start up and not do the surge and die until I foot pedal it. That being said, what I found is, well, I also fixed this where I had the plate in backwards. So if you're curious, you don't have an extra one. I had another one to look at, but the the writing should be readable, legible from the front, and I had it from the back. So now it seats in there properly, and there's no bleed by. There, I guess the plate is angled a little bit. One of my spark plugs was almost fouled out, like it had dropped, not fouled out, but shorted, like it had dropped and it didn't get checked and it got put in. So that might have been my missing issue. I did check all the boots and stuff for shortages and not connections and all that kind of thing, and everything looks good. So I've done the best I could to check those, and the cap looks good and all that. Here's the fresh air intake, what it looks like off, but you'll see that also. I ran all the injectors through the cleaner and tested them. They're not exactly on. Some of them are, you know, a little higher, you know, 2.5 milliliters, I think, higher than the others, but they're all flow nicely. One of them was missing the cap, which you decap them to get a little bit more flow out of them, or a little bit better flow. That is what I've heard on the internet, but I just replaced the cap because all of them were capped. I couldn't find the cap, so I think it went through the motor. I can tell you that this is an injector from the 351 Windsor. It's a little bit different part number, which is right here. This one is a 19 pound. Those are 18 pounds. The actual flow rate. They may be advertised as 19 pounds. You know, 19 and 24 I think are the common ones. But these are actually designed to flow 18 pounds based on the part number on here. So we got those to go back in. Now that they're cleaned and checked that they're all good, I got this guy fixed to go back in. I'm going to get some new spark plugs and put those back in. And then I did have to take the header off, so I'll get the header back on once the spark plugs are in and bolt everything back together. So we got a bunch of stuff going on. I'm going to change the water pump before I bolt everything back together. So that's going to be it for this video, though. The test drive, longer test drive other than just around the block, show that there's some stuff that need to be fixed. I'm going to try and fix them, and we'll get back with you when I do that. I will do another test drive and then start on the interior. I know I keep threatening to do that. A lot of this stuff was kind of temporary so we could get going down the road during cruising the coast. So now we're going to fix all that stuff, get the radio wired in and all that. So on the next one, we're going to get on the interior. But thanks, guys. That'll be it for this one, and we'll see you on the next one. Well, that's that. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.